She was only 15 years old. Her name was Lena Whitaker. It was winter in northern Colorado, and the world outside was cold and silent. Snow covered everything: trees, trails, even the creek that ran near her home. Lena loved the forest. It was quiet there, peaceful, a place where she didn't have to explain herself or feel alone. On this cold February day, school was closed after a heavy snowstorm dumped over a foot of snow the night before. Most kids stayed inside, drinking hot cocoa or watching movies. But not Lena. She wrapped her scarf tightly around her face and put on her boots. She stepped out alone into the frozen world. The wind was sharp and wild, whipping through the pine trees and shaking loose snow from the branches. The sky was grey, and the light had a strange blue tint. Lena walked along a narrow trail beside Shadow Creek. Her boots made soft, crunching sounds in the fresh snow. Icicles hung like glass teeth from the branches. Everything felt quiet, but not empty. Then she heard it. A small, soft noise, almost like a hiccup or a weak whimper. Lena stopped walking. She listened carefully. There it was again, a faint cry full of pain and fear. It was not a bird or a squirrel or any animal she knew. It was smaller, weaker. Not far from the path, near a small juniper bush dusted with snow, Lena saw something small and curled up. At first it looked like a furry ball covered with snow, but then it moved, a tiny shiver. She crouched down and gently moved the branches away. There, lying in the cold snow, was a small bobcat kitten. The kitten was no bigger than a football. Its fur was patchy and thin, frosted with snow and ice. It had light brown fur with small black spots, and its ears had tiny black tufts on the tips. Its eyes opened slowly, bright, clear blue eyes that seemed to look right into Lena's soul. But the kitten was badly hurt, and it looked exhausted, as if it had been fighting for its life all night. Lena's heart broke. She knew what most people would say. Wildlife rangers often said to leave wild animals alone, no matter what. They said it was better to let nature take its course, but Lena couldn't do that. She could not just walk away and leave the kitten to die in the cold. She whispered softly, "No, not today." Without thinking twice, Lena took off her coat. The cold hit her like a wall, but she wrapped the tiny bobcat carefully in her jacket and pressed it close to her chest. The kitten didn't try to fight or scratch. It barely moved, just a small, weak sound, like a breath. Lena started back toward the trail, each step heavy with snow. Her legs felt like they were moving through cement. The cold bit at her face and hands. Once she slipped and fell to her knees, but she held on tight to the little bundle, refusing to let it touch the snow again. "I've got you," she whispered. "Just hold on." Finally, the trees thinned, and Lena saw her house, an old two-story home with a garage and her father's canoe stacked beside it. Her legs trembled as she hurried to the side door, hoping her father wasn't home yet. Inside, the garage was cold, but not nearly as freezing as outside. Lena laid the kitten on a pile of old horse blankets. She plugged in a small space heater. Warm air filled the room. She opened her coat and looked at the little bobcat. Its chest moved quickly with shallow breaths. The kitten's eyes fluttered open and met hers. For a moment, there was something between them. Not quite trust, but not fear either. "You're safe now," Lena said quietly. That night, the garage no longer smelled like motor oil and dust. To Lena, it felt like a sanctuary, a small place where hope still lived. For Lena, that moment was more than just saving an animal. It was a choice to care, to risk, and to hope. Sometimes saving a life means giving up your own peace. But in that quiet winter night, Lena found something new, a purpose. And from that day on, everything changed.